My name is Caden Shear, and I am doing my project on the bee business. So, my idea of what this is I wanted to look into what it is that people want to commercialize the honeybee business for. And so, I was thinking of this as starting off, what does it take, how much will it cost, and what are the profits going to be throughout the process of starting a honeybee farm, and what all you can get out of doing this. Financially, emotionally, if you will, but this is my project. So, the bee business, how easy is it to commercialize bees, and how can you be successful in the honeybee industry? By Caden Shear, Into 320, 6700, and then 4/17/2024. Getting down to business is what I like to title this, because he's getting down to business, really explaining what's going on here. So, as we have learned, bees have numerous uses and purposes in our world today. According to the National Honey Board, honeybees are responsible for 80% of the pollination of our food source in the United States. So that means honeybees are in charge of pollinating 80% of our all of our, everything that can be pollinated, all of our food sources, they pollinate those food sources for us. So that shows you how important they are in our world today. This means that without bees, our economy would have to totally rethink the way we feed our citizens. So if we wouldn't have all the fruits and vegetables and everything that bees and pollinators do, then we would have to completely rethink about how we feed our world. We'd have to rethink about how much grain we could produce, how much fruit we could produce, how much vegetables we could produce, because we wouldn't have the bees to pollinate those plants for us. So we really have to take that into consideration. We think of what they do for us. So, if bees are so important, that means there must be a market for bees and their services, right? As we go through this presentation, we will see just how profitable bees can be and why they are such an important part of our world today. Let's put a picture of a honeybee on a flower just to represent what we're talking about here. Bee influence industries. Bee products used in the food industry. So this is just like a slide of the food industry and a few more things, but this is a good informational video on how this works, correct? So, honey. This is the honey industry. According to Statista.com, approximately $371 million were earned in just the honey industry alone in 2023. Honey is used in countless dishes, food-related products, and all across the world. So think of all the things that honey is in. All the soaps, all the lotions, all the food, all of our food products, all just the hundreds of things you can imagine. The lip balms, whatever. Beeswax. According to gemsites.com, the beeswax industry was valued at $572.3 million in 2023. Beeswax is used in a plethora of daily used objects such as furniture polish, food, candles, lotions, balms, and solid blocks for waterproofing. So think of, the best way to put this is think of like a pair of jeans, Well, they sell blocks of beeswax, right? And so you can apply that beeswax to your clothing, and then it adds a layer of waterproofing. There's actually a company where they sell gloves. They're ski gloves. And one of the big things they do is our waterproofing is 100% organic product, because it is honeybee wax that they use to waterproof their gloves. It works awesome. It doesn't freeze up like other things do. Other water repelling substances. So it's just another great example. Pollen. According to the Statista.com, the United States pollen industry was valued at nearly $616.9 million in 2023, which will surprise lots of people. Pollen is actually used for everything from medical uses to dietary substitutes. So you can actually buy tubs of like pollen, like protein stuff and everything, because it has so many valuable nutrient components to it. It really helps everything. Then we go to honeycomb. So the honeycomb industry is more of a niche market that depends on a list of economic details. So, I mean, to explain this, like person to person, a niche market would be, oh, something's in a fad. Oh, this is like the new health deal. This is not the new health deal. Whatever it may be. But the honeycomb industry, you really look around. I mean, you think of all your lip balms and everything. I mean, like the honeycomb industry is a big thing, and you can buy honeycomb per pound. It's a super profitable market, but you have to realize you're taking that honeycomb away from the hive. So that's another thing you have to consider when you're wanting to sell your honeycomb. Honeycomb is a huge food and health. Huge in the food and health world. Honeycomb is currently going for $2.63 per pound, meaning that is a very profitable byproduct of the honey industry. Because you're wanting to raise honey, you have bees, yada yada, whatever you want to say, and then you get honeycomb as a byproduct of the honey making industry. The cost of owning bees. So this is kind of like some research I did. To commercialize bees, you must first own bees. Let's plan on how much it will cost to start a bee farming operation. From what I have found, bees are often sold by the pound. The most common increments that I have found for them are sold in threes. So 3 pounds at a time. Over 3 pounds of bees cost about $150. A 3-pound package of bees includes anywhere from 10,000 to 12,000 bees. So you're really seeing how much you're getting, per hive, or whatever you may call it, like a group of 10,000 bees. A bee box costs about $200 on average, is what I found. I looked it up and kind of averaged all the costs I found. Some are cheaper, some are more expensive, some are fancy, some are just bee boxes. You know how it goes. Which means that about 3 bee boxes at minimum, you'll have around 30,000 bees. Now that's the way to start. 30,000 bees. Think about how much you can do with 30,000 bees. So at 3 hives, and I believe it said a bee relatively creates about a half tablespoon of honey in its lifetime. Bee suits cost an average of $60. I also looked this up, found a few things. Some were as cheap as $20, but I won't touch $20 bee suit. I don't think anybody else would. So I found some for almost $120. So I mean, it really just depends on what you're selling. So average cost about $60 for a bee suit. This means for all the things you're looking at about $1,200 to start your bee business on a small scale. So this is just your average ag tax write-off for property taxes kind of a deal right here, okay? Honeybee farming profits. As we have discussed, honeybees are one of the most financially safe choices when trying to start your way into the field of agriculture. Honeybees affect so much in our day-to-day lives, and actually seeing it happen is quite a show. We will now go over how profitable they can be. It takes 556 worker bees to produce 1 pound of honey, which means at $11 per pound. So it said $6 to $11. Let's say $11 per pound. In some markets, a hive can easily produce roughly 18 pounds of honey. So they said a lifespan of a bee is however long it was. And so that amount of bees in a hive, so I believe it was 10,000 times, whatever. I figured out how much it would be. But you can easily make $198 per hive in one lifetime of a bee. So that shows you just how, that they're always reproducing anyways. So it really shows how profitable bees can be. I'm not saying a commercial scale. You'd have to have hundreds of bee boxes to actually be able to make a business out of it. But this is just showing you how you can do it on the side. When it comes to honeycomb, you can make up $16 per pound. Honeycomb is a highly sought after market because of how many uses it has. As we talked about earlier, honeycomb has many uses. Actual profits made owning bees. Bees are not for everyone, and that is okay. Some people have learned to truly appreciate bees for what they are worth, and it can be as good. It can worth and can see the good they do in this world. Now, as far as trying to start a bee business and make it profitable in the first year, good luck. I said that because the reason I said that is because the bee industry it takes time. So you can't just go expecting to have bees for a year and make a profit off of it. You have to have them for 3-4 years to start paying off what you've already made, start paying off everything, and really appreciating what you've earned. Bees take time to build hives and produce honey. So after about 4 years, you may begin seeing your returns. And at that point, it is best to use that money to get more bees and continue building your bee farm for generations to come. I say generations to come because I think the whole beekeeping and bee farming thing is super important. It's one of the most important agriculture industries that we see today. And being able to pass it on from generation to generation and really understand the appreciation of the system is huge. And I think that's something that I hold dear as a family who has bees. And all my friends have bees. I think it's super cool to be able to see that and to be able to get called on to go relocate bees and maybe put them in bee boxes or whatever it may be. But I think it's really cool that you can go generation to generation with bee farming thing and that you see so much progress out of it. And these are my references.